Could you pay your bills? Could you have fun? Could you get other business out of it? Yes, you could. Are you a pet photographer who does not offer headshot business portraits for fellow pet-based businesses in your town? Oh, you need to watch this whole video because I have at least 10 reasons why you need to be offering this to other businesses in your town. So Monique here, Silver Paw Studio. I'm standing in my studio right now, founder of ProPetPhotog. I am a full-time pet and people photographer and videographer in lovely Colorado. And I have got a bunch of reasons here that you need to add this to your offerings at your photography studio. Oh, okay. So the first one is that people get their business portraits with their pets. Everybody loves this idea. A lot of the work I do is for like veterinary offices, and they're just ecstatic. Like, what? I don't have to have just like a school picture. I can have my dogs, my cats, my lizards, my birds in these pictures. Like, yeah, isn't that fun? And then what happens is they're less critical of what they look like, and they're just happy to have a picture with their pet. So that's like number one perk to offering this to your local businesses. Another reason is that it's a very easy setup. Now, you're going to have the same setup every time, and it has to be just really basic. You can have one speed light and one reflector, and oftentimes I do only have a small setup like that because at vet hospitals they put me in an exam room, which aren't very big typically. So you just set it up in there. You can bring a stool or a bench or just use what they have already at their facility. And sessions go really fast. You're only going to spend a couple of minutes with each person and their pet. And I typically only deliver 2, maybe 3 options for each staff member. So it's consistent, like you're going to have the same light, same setup every time. This type of offering also fills in the gaps of your year. So oftentimes my private commission client work slows down in the first part of the year, but businesses ramp up because they're getting ready for the new year. This is when they're thinking of updating their website and their social media and all of those kind of things. So this is a good thing to fill in all the different gaps of your year, and it could be at good times of the year for these businesses too. These tips are not necessarily in any kind of order, but if you're enjoying them, I'd really love a thumbs up here. Thanks so much. Another reason you need to do this is it gets you in front of so many people. It gets you in front of the staff, the owners, the other businesses around the area. They're going to see you carrying things in, or your car, or your shirt with your name on it. It's going to get you exposed to so many more people in your community or surrounding communities if you expand. So this is just a great way to have connections with the people that could be right fit clients for you in other ways. Business portrait type, headshot type photography often has very little cost of goods sold, if any, because most of the time you're only delivering digital files. So with my private commission clients, I have all kinds of pieces I want them to hang up on their walls, right? That is a big deal to us photographers. But in the business world, they just need digitals. So all you're going to do is give them digital files. So your overhead cost is super low. Some businesses will want prints, and I just negotiate that separately, whether they want that as art in the room or plaques of their doctors or everyone on the staff. Just negotiate that separately, but otherwise, almost no overhead. Nice. Oh, another reason you do this is a quick turnaround. So you've got your consistent lighting and setup and digital images. These are so fast. You're going to spend just a few minutes, just minutes with each person. They got to get back to work. Maybe they brought their dog in on their day off, or their cats or their birds, right? So it's a very fast turnaround. You'll go in, set up your equipment. That'll take less than half an hour. It should. You'll photograph everyone, maybe an hour, depending on how the schedule goes and how many you have, and then take it all down, and then back at your computer, you load them all up. They all have the exact same lighting, the exact same background. There should be very, very, very little editing. Edit them all and send them the gallery for them to choose their finals from. So fast. I can't tell you how many times I've done a session like this, start to finish, I'm done in 2 hours. That's it. You know, from the minute I pulled into their parking lot to the minute I delivered their final images, 2 hours. How awesome is that? Another perk to this is they will hire you over and over again throughout the year and throughout the years. So once you have a relationship with a business, they're really not going to go look for another photographer. Now, if another photographer happens through, you got to have your customer service in line and everything that you're offering, and everything has to be on point to keep that client, right? But very, very rarely will another photographer take over your client in these situations. These tend to be like smaller businesses, and just your regular non-pet photographers never even think to go to places like pet-based businesses. And so you're in there. And so they will hire you over and over throughout the year. I often service veterinary hospitals, and so they tend to grow quickly, or maybe they have seasonal work. So in my town, we have a veterinary hospital. So sometimes people only can work over the summer because then they have to go back to school. There's different reasons why the staff grows and changes. And so oftentimes I need to just email them every 3 to 4 months and say, hey, how's it going? I'm here for you. What kind of staff changes have you had? Let's get you on the calendar. And I'm often that direct. I say, hey, it's been a few months. Who we got on your books? I've got these dates available. And they're like, cool. They are so busy. They appreciate you reaching out like that. So this could be something that same business can feed into for years. Now, with that in mind, consider a retainer program. If I haven't convinced you to do this yet, you should be. Because if you have someone that has a huge staff, or they always have an influx, you can offer to say, hey, if we're going to photograph this many of your staff over the next year, let's say, why not just pay me a small monthly fee, and then we can just schedule, like if you have a studio space like me, they can just come in whenever you hire them. No need to fuss around with everything. You're already paid. Just send them to me as needed. This could also work if you're an on location, like if that particular business has a nice area outside. Even if it's urban, you can find a place that has a nice wall and nice trees, something like that, a fence, and you always set them up outside. You can say, hey, I'll just swing by on Thursday and get the new person's photo. We're good to go. And then whether they have 5 new employees that month or 1 for 3 months and then 10, you know that they're going to have this many over the year, and they just pay you every month small amounts, and it's not a big thing every time, and they can work it into their budget and in their accounting, because a lot of times there's a lot of people they have to talk to get these kind of things rolling. So if you make it super easy for them, say it's only going to be this much a month, whoever you got, send them to me, and I'll take care of it. Oh, such a nice touch for these businesses. Another reason to offer this is it will lead to other work. So not only did you meet the entire staff and the owners and businesses next door, they might not only need headshots. They might at some point go, ooh, my web designer said I need new pictures of the building or the lobby, or hey, we're offering this new service or this new package and we need some photos of it. Do you have a package that you can offer us for that? Which I sure do. Or we decided we wanted to up our game on social media. What do you have for us as a package like that? Or maybe if you do video production, this has worked for me, you can do a small commercial for them, or something like an open house, or whether they're teaching a class, maybe you can film that for them or photograph that for them. It all leads to other types of businesses within that company and anyone surrounding and any of the staff. So it really puts you in a position to offer anything they might need as far as content, visual content is concerned. And if they ever come up with any other interest in something that you have skills in, you can be right there for them as a resource. That's pretty cool too, right? And then the very last perk to this, the reason you should be doing this, is you can have several businesses you're working with throughout the year. Maybe you only have a couple of hours a week that you work with this business. All right, well then you can have 5 more and you can fill up an entire day every week, averaged out, obviously. But if you had 5 businesses you're working for, what? And it's very little work. You just have to be organized. Just be organized, stay in contact, keep communication good, and you can have just a few. Think of how many businesses are in your town. In my town, we have 75 veterinarians, last I checked, and that was a while ago. That was individual veterinarians, actual practices, I have no idea. A lot. So if you only had 4 of those, could you pay your bills? Could you have fun? Could you get other business out of it? Yes, you could. I think I've probably convinced you at this point that you need to add business-to-business photos and headshots to your pet photography business model. It is super fun, it's very lucrative, and it's a change in what you normally do, and it will just really add to what you offer and who you reach out there in the world. However, if you start doing this, there are things that businesses do differently for sure than private commission clients. And if you want to know what those things are, I've made a whole video for you here on a bunch of things that you need to know going into these types of B2B or commercial photography type local contracts, okay? So be sure to watch this video as well, and I'll see you in the next one. As always, I wish you many woofs, purrs, and TREATSs.